all of those people who are in our social network platforms. We're very grateful that you're all here. Just before we start the Indigenous Ways Wisdom Circle, I just want to take this time to acknowledge the traditional caretakers and ancestors of these lands we reside on here in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and that is the Pueblo. And wherever you're beaming in from, and in acknowledging the traditional caretakers and ancestors of the lands that you're residing on.
And a big ya'ate. We are all here together, everybody. Thank you all for beaming in this evening. My name is Tosh. I'm the co-founder and artistic director for Indigenous Ways. It's great to work with my partner, Elena, who is the executive director. And we're very grateful to run a nonprofit that bridges people, cultures globally. We want the walls of separation to diminish. We want prejudice and racism to end. We want everyone to learn from each other's walks in life. We are all sacred people. We are here for a very short time. Life is very short. We need to cherish every moment, and we need to walk with humility. We need to walk with respect, and we need to leave a gentle footpath on our beautiful Mother Earth when it's time for us to depart into the spirit world. We are so honored to have our virtual events on Wednesday nights. We are very grateful to be able to have this connection with wisdom keepers, such as our presenter Tokala tonight. We're also very grateful to have our Friday evening events where we acknowledge the gifts of talent, the gifts of creation, the gifts we're all born with. So we bring in brothers and sisters that play musical instruments and tell stories through music. That's on Friday nights. So we want a good big welcome to our beautiful sister, Christina, in New York City. My best friend is here tonight, Christina, from the Navajo Nation. Arletta is on the line, so maybe you guys can meet tonight after the show. Just want to let you all know that we're so grateful you're all here, and we're so grateful to present Tokala. Tokala comes from the Sikanju tribe. I met a brother at IAIA back in the day, and he said, "I'm Sikanju, the Burnt Thigh Clan." I always remember him. I asked him to join us tonight, so we'll see if Charles Rencounter and his daughter Karen Rencounter, who live in Santa Fe, are going to join us tonight. I also invited Richard Erdos's daughter, Jackie. He knew Lame Deer, wrote his book, Seeker of Visions. Tokala is the nephew of Lame Deer. Tokala's got some amazing stories to tell us tonight. We're in for a surprise. We got a serious storyteller. So everybody, as they say in the English way, this is from the horse's mouth. This is the real deal. This is a Lakota man, Lakota elder. Everyone, welcome, Tokala. Ahiahet,
Oh,
thank you.
Oh.
oh, good afternoon, good evening. Yeah, I'm going to speak my language. Tokala Hocokan Waokiya money much up now. Yeah, Chitango, Lakota much up. Heta, Wahi, Ka, Alehampi, Awopila, yeah, Chamasha, Napa Chuzapalo. I thank you and I shake your hands with a good heart. And our way of life, of our life givers, our women, to give me the honor to be part of their circle here tonight. So I have a lot of respect for all women, our life givers of our nations. So, thank you. I wanted to start with there was so much talk about music, and I come from a long line of singers. My father was the songkeeper for some of our medicine men who passed on, our grandfathers. And my father was entrusted with these calling songs to bring this energy into our circle, to refresh our grandfathers and our grandmothers that we carry every day and every night in our blood. And we have the world's smallest Hochoka. Hochoka is a circle of life. And that circle of life is so small that I share this with young people too, that it's so small that you have to use a microscope to see it. It's called a blood cell. And inside the blood cell, there is a nucleus. And inside that nucleus is where all the grandpas and grandmas from your dad's side and from your mom's side, all the way back to the time of creation. And we carry those grandpas and grandmas around every day, every night. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to respect and honor that precious energy that Mother Earth has given us with our earth bodies, and how this process of taking care of this earth body, how we can pass on some of the spiritual teachings that come from that invisible world called the Wakan, or the sacred energy. I'm going to start with a sacred vibration with when we leave our mother's womb, we listen to her heartbeat, the vibration of love. For 9 months, the women have a long ceremony, longer than any man's ceremony. They have a 9-month ceremony bringing life into this world. And why we Lakota men respect the women for that ceremony. We cannot match that ceremony that they have. And that is why we consider them sacred. So when they're born into this world, then another heartbeat takes over. It's called a drum. This heartbeat, many songs come from it. Love songs, round dance, social dance songs. So tonight I want to sing this song, the prayer song that comes with the sacred vibration. And I heard a young boy sing this song, and it says, send a voice for me. Send a prayer for me. Send a voice for me. Send a prayer for me. For whatever you're praying for will come true. And then before we start that heartbeat, we have another drum beat, and it's called a rolling of a drum. And this rolling of a drum is a symbology of the thunder and lightning that brings life to Mother Earth. Every spring equinox, the spring equinox, the Waokiya, the thunder and lightning nation, brings new life to Mother Earth, a new birth. All the animals give birth to little ones that come into this world. You have to bear with me in my cold. Haya makiayo, chama kiayo, haya makiayo, chama kiayo, haya kako eheko, haya chetu chelo. Haya makiayo, yane te telo. Haya makiayo, chama kiayo. Haya makiayo, chama kiayo. Kako eko chetu ero oye ma kiayo kane ero. Thank you. And respect for that sacred vibration. That sacred vibration of love coming from the womb of our mother. That heartbeat. The spirit. They say the spirit can come and go inside the mother's womb. And also when it comes into this world in the form of a baby, that the spirit can come and go with that hole on top of the head. As it slowly closes, then the spirit stays in the body. The grounding energy, the anchoring energy for these little ones to stay here comes from a strong medicine that women have. The symbology of Mother Earth is love, compassion. Mother Earth feeds all living energy. The number one medicine of Mother Earth that gives life is water. How water is a pejuta, is a medicine for us to live. That a high percent of our body is made up of water. To acknowledge that small circle, again, the Hocokan, that smallest Hocokan that has energy of life is that blood cell. And how we must take care of our bodies and the future of our young people. Those teachings were strong. Those teachings were intact up to the time of the encroachment of the Europeans. And that way of life was slowly taken away from us. So some of us that still remember some of these teachings as elders, we want to share this information as an expression of love that was given to us by our elders, and to learn patience and understanding. As a little boy, I come from the Buffalo Hardships family moose camp. As a little boy, going into ceremony with them in some of our sweat lodges, I sat on my father's lap. It was a hard time to learn patience because it's hot inside the sweat. With some of you who experienced sweat lodges before, and the cleansing and the purification of our bodies. And I remember squirming and trying to tell my father that I wanted to go out and get some air. And he would gently remind me to listen, pay attention to these grandfathers that are saying and sharing their medicine of prayer of the past, how we used to live, how we're living today, and the prophecies that they share, what's coming in the future. So these are things I had to learn, and learn how to breathe and not panic inside of a hot sweat, and to understand the gift of spiritual power from the rocks, the connection to the grandfather rocks, the connection to the grandfather water, the grandfather steam that helps us breathe. That the correct way of art saying the sweat lodge in our language is wo inipi, through the mouth we live. That's the interpretation. Through the mouth we live. And I remember the grandfather sharing many of their stories of what it used to be like. And they always said that that way of life was beautiful, that they used to live. They would say, honey, khonipi ha, washtelo, washtelo. Honey, khonipi ke and kiksuya mawanielo. I remember those beautiful days, how it used to be. So these are things that we're told and shared, the gifts of these medicines, these teachings. These are things I cherish. And my father passed away when I was 12 years old. And my mother put me in a church school. And for 6 years, my mom wanted me to become an Episcopal priest because something scared her. And what scared her was how the people that believed in our ways of life were made fun of, and other hurtful things were done to our people, even putting them in insane asylums because they believed in a different way of prayer. That was good. But I never did feel connected to that way of prayer. And in 1972, when I finished high school, I let that way of prayer go. And I studied my way of prayer, our way of prayer, and reconnecting, trying to understand and learn what our people fought and died for, what they cherished. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to hear these stories of long ago, how the women were considered sacred and the power they had. They had more ceremonies than us men. They had songs for each plant that they harvested. They had their own do's and don'ts. When to harvest the plants, when not to harvest the plants. They respected these sacred ways by taking themselves and going to, we had teepees at the around the camp. We had teepees on one side of the camp circle where they usually go to when they had their monthly. And they stayed there for 4 days and 4 nights. They weren't allowed to touch food. The women, elder women that were there, helped them, teach them, especially those who were having their first time. They were given the proper teachings of how to become a woman, physically, mentally, spiritually, how to be a mom, how to be a spouse, a mom, how to be a grandma, all the things they need to know physically, mentally, and spiritually were told to them during those 4 days they were there. And they were also, when I heard from my mother about industrial things, teaching them how to do things, to make things while they were there, that they were only allowed to do that. And when that was over, then they could go back to their teepee. So from the rest of that time, every time that time came, they took themselves out of that teepee and went to that teepee where they stayed there for 4 days and 4 nights. Mainly because of the power that is doubled or quadrupled from them going through that ceremony. That they can create this harmony to the medicines that we have. So out of respect for our teepees, we're sacred. Sacred energy was in our teepees. Not only the family's chanupa, the family's pipe, the family's medicines, but the children were considered sacred too. So these are things that they practice out of respect and keeping the balance and harmony of family. And so that was something that today as an elder, I look back on those teachings and remembering the stories that was told to me. So that part I remember well, and I'm glad that I can share that part tonight. There's many other stories that go along with it, but I also want to go to another part of our teachings. And tonight I wanted to go to the teachings of a young boy when he goes through that rite of passage. For the female was their first menstrual cycle. For the boy is when his voice starts to change. But both male and females, both boys and girls were tutored by grandmas and grandpas. The grandpas would tutor the young boys to that time, to that age where their voice starts to change, what they need to prepare themselves for their rite of passage is to go on a hill, on the sacred hill, and pray to bond with the sacred gift that was given to us by the white buffalo calf woman, and that was the chanupa, the sacred pipe. So the symbology of being a pipe carrier for every male was that time, because they need to watch and cherish this beautiful life that was given to us. The songs that were made for this ceremony, the songs that were sung, the 4 parts of ceremony of calling, welcoming, living energy, and releasing or healing energy, the 3rd part, and the 4th part is releasing. So there's songs that go for all 4 of those ceremonies: calling, welcoming, healing or living, and then releasing. We go through this 4 quarters of life that we have in our Lakota ceremony called the Hochoka, that where we connect with our chanupa and our teachings, that there is no separation for all living energy. When we pray for our animal nation, that we Lakota believe that we are part of the animal nation. We call ourselves the Hunupa, the 2-legged. We also have the 4-legged. We have the winged ones. We have those that live in the water. We have those that live in the ground of our animal nation that we come from. Because we used to call an energy called Watogala. Wa-to-ga. Again, the word to is the color blue. And the color blue is sacred energy. Any time and a word, a Lakota word that has to in it is reference to that sacred energy. So all the animals had that energy of Watogala. Some of the grandpas today look at the cows that are standing in pastures and corrals or whatever, and they're chewing grass. They look at them and they say that these cows have no spirit. Those animals that have spirit have an energy of life, and they have the energy to go and be free, live a happy life with this energy of Watogala. And that's the way we were. So even the talk of cutting our hair, losing some of that energy when our hair was cut. The respect for having our hair long. It was part of our earth body that was connected to ceremony. So there's many stories that I can share, but due to the time here, I'm trying to fit in as much as I can with the stories that I would like to share with all of you listening. Some of the moving stories that I like today is the prophecy of the buffalo. The prophecy of the buffalo is that we're on its last leg. At the beginning, the prophecy of the buffalo was a healthy buffalo, standing on 4 legs and was healthy and a young buffalo. Each leg stood for an era of time. But today, we are on our last leg of the buffalo. And this buffalo is gaunt, it's skinny, it has ribs showing, it's bony, and it's losing hair. Some say it even has one eye. But this one leg is an era that women are going to become leaders. And as I look about the many Oyates or the countries, the nations that we have, I see the awakening of women stepping up, becoming leaders. As we close and end this last leg, there's a new beginning. There's a new beginning that's going to happen. That's going to come back to Mother Earth. So as I look about on our Turtle Island, I see an energy called Wonahitya. Wonahitya is spiritual fear, panic. People are out there panicking to see all these things that are going on today. If you were raised with some of these traditional teachings before we were forced to learn another way of life, we would learn to be in balance and harmony, take care of ourselves. There are ceremonies, there are herbs and plants that help us with our walk here on Mother Earth. Things that we must teach our children, our grandchildren, for those that are still coming. I always think of the many ceremony songs, singing many different songs for different activities, social dance songs, game songs, songs that make us happy. I remember a time in my life where I had a disruption in my life, and I was going through some hard times, and then being reawoken and to relearn our ways again. And when I came back to this way of life, I believe that I felt so unhealthy. I believe that I did not deserve to hold or touch the sacred Tranupa, the sacred pipe that was given to me when I was 17 years old. I felt that I had to cleanse myself. I felt that I wasn't worthy enough to hold something sacred. So I stayed away, and I went to other ceremonies and learned how to pray again in our language. Learned how to stand on a hill and cry for the people. Put my feet inside of my great grandpas and the grandpas before them and their moccasins to feel the energies, what they went through. How we must keep in balance and harmony. I remember my first year in college trying to find a course of study that can help our people. I remember being unhappy for every book I read about our American history. I became more angrier and more sadder, more unhappy with the treatment of our people, the land taking. In the beginning, to trust and open our teepee doors and to allow them to come in and welcome. And what happened after that? So I look back on our relatives that are trying to educate themselves, and they read things like this historical trauma that happened to our people. It takes a man or a woman to take time out and to maybe smudge yourself and to continue on to try to complete your course of study, because that's what I had to do to learn how to help our people, not only traditionally, but also academically, to keep my language, to keep our spiritual ways intact, not to change them, not to amend them, to do the best I can to try to follow proper protocols. But first I had to control my anger to be in balance and harmony with our teachings, and to help myself attain academically, and also to come back and help our people. I remember getting a government job, trying to live with the Washichu, or amongst the white people, and working for the government. But I kept having these dreams. There were 3 dreams that kept telling me something. So I brought those dreams back and I took them to 7 altars, 7 medicine men's altars. Uncle, Lakshi, why am I having these dreams? What are these dreams trying to tell me? So come nephew, we're gonna go in the sweat. And I would tell you. Or we would go to another ceremony and I would tell you. After 7 altars, 7 medicine men, in summary, I was told to come help our people. It was hard for me when I didn't have a job, when I came back to help our people. And I put myself down for leaving a good paying job and getting mad at some of my relatives because they're not listening. They're not putting away their bottle of alcohol or their drugs. They're not listening. It becomes frustrating and hard to help our people, to be chastised. But I remember the grandfathers many years ago telling me, if you're going to pick up this chanupa, this sacred way of life, people are going to throw rocks at you in the future. They're going to hurt you and try to make you drop your chanupa or walk away from your way of teaching, your way of prayer. It's going to be a hard life. But if you hang on to this chanupa and walk with it, many good things will happen. And I've seen that. I've seen that. And I'm thankful to be here at this age and with my health, my home, my two younger children becoming very active, and I became a single parent when my daughter was 5, my son was 3, and how they achieved, because I wanted to show the world that as a single man, I could be a good mom, I could be a good dad. My daughter, her 4 years of high school, took the state A oral interp contest with the class A schools. She took first place for 4 years. At the high school that she went to, we all went to the same high school. She's got one wall to herself with some of her achievements, and really makes me a proud father. And my son also went to the state where discus, shot put, football, basketball, and they both of them were 4.0 A honor roll students. And I wanted to show the world that as a father, that I could raise 2 children and have them be successful. And today my daughter is a teacher at one of our high schools here on the Pioneers Reservation, at Little One High School. I gave her my mom's name, Nellie. Traditionally, I can't call her that name because traditionally we're not supposed to say their names out of respect. So I gave her a nickname, Tuki. Tuki means a shell, seashell. Tuki, some of our traditional women's dresses have these seashells all over their traditional cloth dresses. Some are made into earrings. But I remember my mother used to really like those shells, and she used to have a dress like that. So it was an honor to call my daughter Tuki. And I named my son Hechakanupa, who's the seventh name carrier of that name. Hechakanupa, Pejuta Yuhamani, walks with two elk medicine. So even coming back and raising my two kids here on the reservation, trying to catch the fragments of what's left of this teaching, this good teaching that our grandpas and grandmas were so proud of. I want my kids to have that. But when I came back, I remember my kids crying when they got off the bus because some of my own relatives were making fun of them and hurting them in the bus. I remember them driving them to school every day after that, because somehow our young people become bullies from historical trauma in the boarding schools. They become bullies. They learn to hurt and make fun of our own language. And this is a division that comes from being forced to learn another religion and trying to decide why this other religion killed a lot of our people. These are things that individually, it's in our DNA. Why we cry on some of these historical dates. Wounded Knee Massacre, the 38+2 that were hung, and Dakotas, how their land was taken from the Dakota people. Many, many other land takings, the Trail of Tears. Why we cry? Because it's in us. Every one of us we call ourselves a tribal family, whether we're Cherokee, Lakota, Navajo, Anishinaabe, we have historical trauma. How do we become a strong nation again? How do we renew this energy of love? How do we tell the land grabbers, the greedy ones, to learn the way we learn, the way we used to live? It's a happy family, how we all got along. So I'm proud to sit here as an elder to share some of these things with you. I'm glad that I've been taught well by my grandpas. I remember my mom taking me to a log house where my grandma and other grandmas were having a meeting, and she wanted me to go with her. And as we got there and we were going to the house, my cousins of the grandmas that were in the house, they were outside playing around. They were looking at me and they were telling me to motion me to come over there. And I shake my head side to side using sign language, and I point at my mom, saying that my mom wants me to go in that log cabin. So in a way, they were teasing me because I had to sit with women. But I remember my mom telling me in our language that there's something and a reason why you have to come in here and listen to what these grandmas are going to tell you. I'm glad that I went there, because it exposed me to the women's power, the women's medicine, what they have. Listening to the grandmas talk, how important the umbilical cord is, how important it is to be a midwife, to help this new life come to this world. Through Wochekya, the power of prayer, that the women are way ahead of us as far as being wakan or sacred. In our language, we don't have no cuss words. And I'm sure a lot of indigenous languages don't have cuss words either. Because all of us had the energy of love. Wa'unshila, to pity each other, help each other, cherish, compassion, give compassion. When I came into this world, my mom couldn't make it to the hospital and her water broke. So my dad took us to Elisa, and the only warmest place that was warm, because there was a sudden storm, and April 13th was my birthday. A sudden spring storm happened and electricity went off. And so my father took my mom to the Elisa, but the electricity went off and the only warmest place was a chicken coop. So my dad took my mom to the chicken coop along with my grandma, who was a midwife. Her name was Grandma Ida. And that's where I was born. So I always tell the people, I said, my relatives are the chickens. They welcome me into this world. And wherever I go, when I hear a rooster crow in the morning, I say, my relative. My relative is good to hear you crow. It gives that vibration of love. The grandma, Ida, the midwife, in those days, they would stick their finger in the baby's mouth and they would remove the slava and whatever to help us breathe. They didn't spank our butts like doctors do in the hospitals and clinics. Earlier years, during the birthing ceremony, they would welcome the spirit to this world. And they would make a commitment that they're going to take care of this spirit and help it learn all the spiritual values that it needs to learn during this lifetime. That this family is going to help this spirit grow in a good way. And without cutting the umbilical cord, they would lay the baby gently down between the mother's breasts with the left ear on the rib cage, so it would not feel abandoned or neglected to hear that heartbeat of the mother's heartbeat, like being back in the womb. And the mother would gently rub the baby's back. Today, that baby's back is called the Sundance tree. We call the Sundance tree Chankahu. Chankahu. It's the same thing as your vertebrae. It's the Sundance tree. They would gently rub the back and say loving words to this new one coming into this world as this little one takes this first breaths of oxygen of this world. So that's the grounding of the birthing that was told to me by the grandmas, that I listened. I'm glad I listened. So anyway, what time is it?
We're just getting up on to the top of the hour in about 10 minutes. So if you want to wrap it up, Tokala, this is awesome.
Okay. Oh, take a drink of coffee. I am the ninth child my mom and dad had. I always look back at it and see families that have large families. Why us babies have a lot of good teachings, because I always think of it that the older sisters and brothers were practiced on. And so when the last child is born, they have all the benefits of child rearing from mom and dad, and they have the majority of the anchoring that helps the spirit anchor here on Mother Earth. And that number one anchor is love. Love. It's a simple medicine. You need to understand love, family love. You don't have to go to the dollar store or wherever to look for it. It's not in the alcohol or the drugs. It's inside you. You bring it out. Everything you're looking for is inside you. Your great grandpas, your great grandmas. I used to laugh of, and we used to joke about in school. We heard about Darwin's theory that we come from the monkey, and we used to laugh and say, as we're eating a banana, we'll say, "I'm just trying to honor my great grandpa as I eat this banana." But we just do that in a joking way. But it was good growing up like that, and our way of teaching how the whole community, the whole camp is your family, and how moms and dads would Wahokumka. Wahokumka means spiritual advice for survival. And during my years of being a teacher, counselor, and working at the JDC school, working with 11 to 17-year-olds, and being a high school teacher when I got my undergrad, having irate parents come call me and say, "What are you trying to tell my child?" Because that child is not getting the correct teaching at home. As an uncle, as a relative, I try to share these things in a good way. I don't share these things to hurt people. I share these things so that you need to go back into yourself. The most important direction, it's not the first direction, it's not the second, it's not the third, it's not the fourth, it's not the fifth or the sixth. The most important direction is the seventh direction, and that's yourself. You need to work on yourself. You need to know who you are. You need to find what mom, the great grandmas, and Mother Earth, what she's trying to teach us. It's a simple word called love. Love. I remember when I had my change of life in September 12th, 1985, I cried. I think I cried so long that I went to Bear Butte, our sacred mountain here in the Black Hills, and I made my commitment. There's a stock dam on the west side of Bear Butte, and I tell my relatives, I said, that's my tears. That's my tears that I made when I was up there. But in order to get better, you need to let go. It'll be your hatred, your anger. You need to find that energy of love to heal. You know, the men, they have 3 ceremonies that they can cry. Sweat lodge, Sundance, and fasting on a hill called Hamblecha. Men can cry. So I tell that to our young men. And I tell them to stand strong, because the family looks to the man to be the stable foundation to help the family survive. But the loving energy comes from mom. Ending, I've seen the video of George Floyd, and I think what everybody reacted to was when he said, when he cried for his mom, when his mom came to get him. And boy, that even impacted me too. That's where we're at today, is we going through this reawakening, and we're going into this new world that's coming. We're letting go of this old world. So I love you all. Thank you for allowing me to be part of your day. Thank all of you.
Thank you very much, Tokala.
Oh,
Very, very, very powerful. Very, very, very humble. I know your granduncle, your uncle, Lame Deer, through Richard Erdos, who co-wrote the book Secret Visions, I believe in 1968 with Richard. And he asked Richard to write his book. Well, guess what, Tokala? Richard Erdos's daughter is here with us tonight, Jackie Erdos. She zoomed in from Maine, Desert Island. So it's an honor to have Richard Erdos's daughter here. And here's also some of your Burnt Thigh clan. I think that's what Sukanju is. We've got some encounters in tonight. So relatives, some people that your ancestors have taught their children, their grandchildren are with us tonight. So what a blessing, what an honor. And I really, really have such great respect for you. And you know why? Because you're a humble man. And your humble man beauty is the biggest, greatest beauty Mother Earth needs right now. Because there's too many bullies out there.
yes.
Too many bullies out there that are trying to scare people into submission. And you know, to meet a beautiful man like you from one of the most powerful tribes of the United States, the Lakota, is such an honor. And my heart is crying. Sadness and happiness, because I feel you. I feel your love, and I feel the honor in you as a man that raised 2 beautiful children. So I really hope that you take care of yourself, Tokala, and you stay healthy, because we need you.
Yeah.
We need you to take care of yourself so we can continue to receive your words, your thoughts, your prayers, your essence, because I could feel your ancestors come through you this evening. So
Oh,
thank you very much.
Oh,
thank you,
thank
Tokala.
you.
And I want to
Tokala.
thank our beautiful interpreters, our ASL interpreters, for making the access available. And I just wanted to pass it on to Elena. She's going to make some announcements before we invite everybody on to meet Tokala.
So we're going to do a little commercial break. I just also want to give a shout out to, it's kind of gone blank in the social media. Anyway, it'll come back to me. But, where we're at is the Indigenous Ways virtual events. We do this twice a week. Once on Wednesday, where we're at the Wisdom Circle receiving the incredible medicines from Tokala that you've just experienced and soaking in. And then on Fridays, we have the concert series. So this Friday, being the 10th, same time, same channel, we've got the extraordinary Lakota John, who's Lumbee and also a Lakota. He is an extraordinary virtuoso guitar player. So really want you to come and experience. He does ragtime on guitar. It's something out of this world. And then this same time at 6 o'clock Mountain Time, we've got Joni Romero, and she's from Cochiti Pueblo, which is here in New Mexico, who will be joining us to share her wisdoms and insights of incredible things. Now, this is possible because of our sponsors, our sponsors being the First Peoples Fund, the City of Santa Fe Arts and Culture Department, the New Mexico Arts, and the National Endowments of the Arts. That's for the concert series. And then on Wednesdays, those sponsors also include the New Mexico Humanities Council and also the National Endowment of Humanities. So we're really grateful for the sponsorship and also your individual donations to help our presenters, performers, our ASL interpreters. And then, woohoo, this is you, Taj.
All right, and I just wanted to give a shout out to all of our beautiful relatives globally that have been supporting our Black Mountain Run, to the elders living on Black Mountain who still have no running water. And the good news is the COVID virus is now off Black Mountain. The families that have been impacted from COVID are now recovered. We have lost a few. Very sad about that, but Black Mountain is COVID-free as we speak right now. Elena and myself are going back to Black Mountain on Tuesday, and we have cleaning supplies and some other goods to take up to the mountain, specifically for the 30 elders that missed out on the last run of the cleaning supplies and the food drop-off we did. And the good news is they have been getting more support. More food has been going up to the mountain. So the Chinle health worker told us that we did not need to bring that much food this time around. So whatever donations we have in our garage is going up to the mountain, mostly cleaning supplies. So our donation is right there, as you can see, if you want to continue to donate to IndigenousWays.org/donate. Old-fashioned snail mail. I never knew what that meant. I thought, snail, what does that mean? But it means, putting a stamp on an envelope and sticking it in a box. And that's the good old days. I miss those days, snail mail days. We can do that too. And
So you can, there's two things to donate, either to what we talked about, what we're doing on Black Mountain on the Navajo Nation, and also our virtual events. But this is that wonderful time where we get everyone in Zoom, if you so wish to come and turn on your cameras. And I might go through and also flick on. So if you see a little sign on your camera, you can decide whether or not you want to. But this is the time you can turn on your camera and come in. If you're on our social media pages and you've got any comments or anything you want to give to Tokala, bang that in. I also want to give a shout out to Kat Ponce, who's out there in our social media world. Thanks, Kat, for beaming in. I just wanted to give her a shout out because her and her husband, Jose Ponce, they organized the New Mexico Music Awards here and supporting for ages, years, all the New Mexico musicians and acknowledging them. So I wanted to thank you for all the incredible work that you do in the music industry and lifting many, many people. We've only just, hey, it's great to see you, Chris and Donna. Thank you so much for beaming in.
And I'd like to see Jackie Erdos. If you can get in here, Jackie, to say hi to Tokala.
Oh, look, there's your
And,
mum and Harry.
Mom,
Hey,
Harry.
Mum and Harry.
Hello, Jerry Barney. Come on in. Kitty. There's Kitty. Jacob. Cheryl. Arletta, you just have to unmute your camera. Cheryl, nice to see you.
Right
and,
on, Cheryl.
Christine and
thanks.
Hilda.
Hey, Christine.
How you
and Hilda,
doing?
great
All
to see
right.
you.
Ohio and Wisconsin here tonight. New York City, South Dakota, Santa Fe. We've got some beautiful, beautiful people in tonight. So I want to go ahead and pass it to you all. Do you all want to say something to Tokala? Just unmute your microphone and let's hear from you. Hey, there's Jackie Erdos. Tokala, that's Richard Erdos's daughter right there, says Jackie. I don't know if you can see her in your tiny little iPhone,
Yeah.
but there's Jackie Erdos. Okay, Jackie, turn your microphone on.
While Jackie's turning your microphone on, actually, it's already on. I just want to give a shout out. Karen Rencounter, I need new glasses. Karen Rencounter just says thank you so much. She's out there in social media. Great to have you too, Karen.
All right, Jackie Erdos, go for it.
Hi. Hello, Tokala.
Hello, Jackie.
You know, I remember Ida. I think I met your grandma
Yeah,
in the 70s in Winter.
yeah,
Was she in Winter?
yeah.
Yeah.
My mother's name is Nellie.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Nellie Fire.
Okay. I
Yeah,
think it was that I met, but yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yesterday was Jackie's father's birthday, Richard Erdos. He was born July 7th, 1912. So he would have been 108 years old today, yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, it didn't make it that long, but he lived to be 96.
Wow.
So we had him around a long time. You're lucky.
Long life.
Yeah. How is your family?
Good.
Good.
I live pretty close to Rosebud. I live next to a golf course here. Spotted Tail Golf Course.
Ah.
I have a niece. Her name is Sally. She calls herself Eagle Shaw.
Huh.
Wambli Shinanwi. She was last visiting your dad,
Oh,
but
Hey,
she
there's-
lives in Oklahoma. She lives in Muskogee.
yeah.
But yeah, she always tells me that she used to talk to him. That I think he gave.
That's in Arizona. Christina asks.
What's that?
Christina, one of the deaf participants, asked, "Is that in Arizona?"
What?
Oh, never mind. I think it was.
Muskogee,
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yes, Oklahoma. Have some wonderful friends from Muskogee. Joy Harjo, Lisa Tiger. Some good people.
I just want to say from Homer Hubble, who's out there in social media, and he says, Nijonie, and translated beautiful in Dene.
Yeah.
So thank you, Lakota.
I have a book that Jamie helped complete last year. It's about 300 pages long. That I sure like to get it published. We're looking for a publisher.
Huh. We don't have an agent anymore.
Yeah.
Say Jackie's dad's first agent was Simon and Schuster, right, Jackie?
I was the publisher. Yeah, no, there was an agent in New York who helped to, shop manuscripts around and stuff like that. I don't know how to do that, but yeah. I might be able to find you a French publisher. I don't know about an. Listen, if Tosh can get me your email address, I might, I could put you in touch with the publishers that have Richard's books.
I'll do
Okay,
it.
I have my cell phone that I carry around. During this pandemic, I don't have an altar, but I still pray a lot, and people respect that.
Yeah.
And so I also run a Sundance for about 33 years now. So
yeah.
I have a sweat lodge here on my yard.
Yeah.
So I do prayers when being asked.
Yeah.
I have respect for that's something I'll tell in another time, another story, but why I have a lot of respect for the altars that our grandfathers had. And I remember one of my uncles putting up with his pipe and saying that the people are not listening anymore. And so that pipe was buried in the dirt. And so he said, I'm not going to continue this way because the people are not listening anymore. And that was back in 1963. And since then, our way of life has really crumbled. There's a lot of disrespect, a lot of pop-up spiritual people that are claiming they have this and they have that and whatever. So anyway, that's something else we could talk about later on.
Tokala, may I give your phone number to Jackie Erdos, please?
Yes, please.
Okay, I will do that after we end this. I'll call Jackie and give her your number. Real quickly, I wanted to make some space for our deaf sisters, our deaf brothers. Does anybody want to say anything? Christina from New York City, would you like to ask Tokala anything?
Yes, I would love to make a comment. I just want to thank you so much, Tokala, for your stories, for your teachings, for everything that you gave us tonight about your way of life. Really, last week I went, I was involved with
the Lakota project.
With the Lakota project, and for the protests that were happening at Mount Rushmore, and everything happening there, and just watching for 4 hours straight, watching everything happening with those protests, the blockades that they set up, and just applauding them for that hard work that they did to stand their ground there and protect that land, that sacred land, and fight for that stolen land. And I watched them stand there and really take ownership of that place and protest against that. We have protests here in New York for Black Lives Matter and for the environment and for Native land rights, for kids that are in the ICE detention centers, and for people that are from Mexico. Really, our hearts are breaking right now with everything in the world that's happening. And I cry watching that protest at Mount Rushmore. I absolutely broke down crying, and I wanted so much to be there and support. Just hearing your stories and being inspired by your words, I don't really know what else to say, but just thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
I feel the same way, Christina.
Oh, wait, one more. Okay. Also, I just wanted to say that I see my friend Arletta here, and I wanted to comment about Arletta being here because she is an amazing teacher. She taught me so much about indigenous ways and ways of life, and just helped me immerse myself within that because my ancestors are native and I'm part of the Huichol people. And I just really want to thank Arletta because she's absolutely amazing. And I'm so happy to see her here. I just want to give her a hug.
Oh,
Arletta, we love you. Arletta, we love you. We love you. We love you. We love you. Arletta taught me sign language, everybody, when I was 11 years old, and she's saying, I love you. See, everybody, this is our Navajo deaf sister from Lukachukai.
oh,
Yes, Arletta's here. It's a miracle Arletta's here. Oh, my God. Oh, my goddess. Oh, my creator. Thank you.
oh.
Otra, anybody else want to say? Hearing world, deaf world, hard of hearing. Anybody want to say? Oh, go for it, Christina. Let's hear you. You are a wise woman.
Yeah, I wanted to thank my friend who joined us as well, Denise Lopez. She showed up. I mean, her camera isn't on. Oh, there she is. Yeah, her camera's on. My friend from California. And also Raymond. And just thank you so much for coming and joining us. Oh, yes, absolutely, Denise says. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Kitty Moss, would you like to say anything tonight?
Denise says, I have a friend, Jacob, who joined also. And he's Native American, and so he joined too. We both have kind of a relationship with the spirits and things like that, and have experienced that. So we joined together, and I thought that I would let him know about this event, and so thankfully he was able to join, and it was nice to, unfortunately couldn't see me, but I couldn't see him on video either, but he was here on the video or watching. So thank you. Thanks for coming.
Oh,
Really, I do want to say thank you so much to Tokala. Thank you for your stories. Thanks for sharing just all of your experiences and your teachings about how really babies are born. It's not that you spank them and that's it. There's more of that connection with rubbing the back, and I didn't know that before. So that was really, really interesting. I thought that was cool. So thank you for sharing. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
oh, you're welcome.
I got to say thank you and good night because my phone is at like 1%.
We love you,
Okay.
Jackie. I'll be calling you soon with Tokala's phone number. Love you, love you, love you. Miss your dad forever. Papa, miss your papa.
Thank you, Tokala. Nice
Oh.
to meet you. Okay,
Oh.
I got to
Good meeting you
leave.
too.
Okay, unless anybody has anything else to say, let's go ahead and call it a night for now. And we look forward to seeing everybody else Friday night. We've got a beautiful brother coming in. Oh, Cheryl Sparrow. Hey, Cheryl.
Yes.
It's your turn, Cheryl.
Yeah, I had a comment as well. I had seen some friends and they had invited me here, so I'm just curious and wanting to join here, see what kind of group y'all have every week, every Wednesday. And so I was curious and decided to show up, and wow, what beautiful information.
We have a lot more.
I was curious also, how do you save your videos? How do I get at the old videos?
Go to our
Facebook
website.
page?
It's IndigenousWays.org. We'll put it into the chat. Can you put it in, Elena? Elena will type in our website. Just type in the website and then click virtual events. And then you'll see the pictures of all the presenters. We'll have after tonight 29 presenters and stories. It's a wealth of tribes, stories, elders, young people that are future ancestors. This woman here, Geraldine Barney, the one that's in the middle of the screen, she's a Navajo. She lives in Boston. She was our presenter about 3 weeks ago. You'll see her face. She's got some wicked stories. Yeah, we've got a deaf brother, Colin Denny, coming on. He's going to be July 27th, a Navajo deaf brother from Pinon, Arizona. So he'll be sharing his story all in sign language. So they'll be hearing voice interpreters. So we got some great people coming on. So please join us, Cheryl. Thank you.
So, Cheryl, I just want to tab on with that. And
Yes.
also a huge thank you to Christina and
Such a
bringing all your friends. And that's how this goes, of sharing what you enjoyed, or sharing the link, whether that be through our Zoom or those people on social media. And as Taj said, we've got this show is number 29. So 29 shows that have archived. They're also live in our Facebook, which is Indigenous Ways 501c3, because we're a non-profit. We're very blessed to be able to do this because of our sponsors that are supporting it, and also individual donors supporting our ASL interpreters who make this access for everyone. And also in our time of where we are in the pandemic, it was important for Tash and I, who run Indigenous Ways. We organize and produce events in communities, predominantly out of remote areas, mainly reservations, and working with the communities, and we couldn't do that. So the best thing that we could do was bring it online to bring our communities together. So the whole point of this is it's a free thing, but it's about bringing our communities in, hearing the medicines like Tokala tonight, who fill us, whether that be through song, through our stories, because the only way that we can get through this is together.
Yes,
together. And the importance too of at the end of each session, we bring everyone in, because some people, this is their only form where they can share. So just kind of just connecting with other human beings, even on Zoom, or through comments on our social networks. So if you're on our social networks, go to IndigenousWays.org and you'll find the Zoom link here. So Cheryl, keep this link that Christina so generously gave you, and everyone else, because we're here every Wednesday and every Friday, same time, same channel, and bring all your friends in, and that's what it's about. But we're more honored that you're here blessing us. We're so honored to have Tokala as well. We had some friends who said, hey, you need to bring Tokala in.
Yeah.
And I also want to say to you, we can only do this through your feedback. So if you know of some people or yourself who would be like, hey, I've got some things I'd really like to share, let us know, whether that be in our chat or on our website, of how we can get in contact, because we organize this a month in advance. So if you go to our website, IndigenousWays.org events, you'll see all the artists and presenters coming up in July. But we've been doing this as a communal thing of your input, telling what's good, what's not, how to shape it. So thank you.
Thank you, interpreters, for your flexibility and staying on past the 1 hour mark.
Yeah.
Tristan and Zoel, we love you. Great job tonight interpreting tonight. Thank you for making the access available. Jerry, Barney, Arletta, everybody, we love you. We're going to say good night now so Tokala can go drink some more coffee. Hey.
But this wouldn't be possible. And if you want to re-see this will be in our archives in the next 24 hours, Indigenous Ways virtual events. And in saying that, please, let's give it up for the one and only Tokala sharing his medicines with us. Thank you so much.
Good night,
Thank
everybody. We love you. Stay safe and stay well, and wear your mask. And if you want to make a political statement, put it on your mask. Art-wise, Indian style, beads.
And be
Colors.
safe, as Tom was saying, and we'll look forward to seeing you Friday.
Love you.
Love you all. Be
Alana,
safe.
love
Be
you.
well.
Bye.
Make trouble. Thank you,
Take care.
Tokala.
Bye-bye. Thank you.